This is your Daily 5 for Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. For our second film this week, Lando and I watched the 1982 Dario Argento giallo Tenebrae, which I've seen before, but I guess I never reviewed for the show, which seems strange. I guess the last time I watched it, or whenever I watched it last, I just didn't think about reviewing it for the show. Or maybe I just assumed, as I did before I checked, that I had already reviewed this movie. But look, we've watched a bunch of Dario Argento films. I've sort of realized that one of my unspoken but clear goals now is to have Lando basically see every one of the Argento films from his golden era of filmmaking. So I think eventually we're going to watch them all so that he has a very well-versed Argento kind of filmography under his belt. In any event, we watched Tenebrae because we had watched The House with Laughing Windows, and I thought, well, let's just keep it thematically kind of similar. And I knew he hadn't seen Tenebrae, so I figured, we'll watch that. And that way we have two kind of very different, but also similar in terms of filmmaking style or the way that the impact of the filmmaking is. They're interesting movies to compare. So I felt that they would be a good set to watch. And now, House of Laughing Windows, much more atmospheric, far less actual body count, that type of thing, as Tenebrae, which is a much more, if you go by the beats the movie hits as far as its storytelling, far more conventional and in the vein of what you would expect out of a giallo. But what, of course, sets it apart is Argento's filmmaking, along with another amazing Goblin score. And really, when you put those things together, you just end up with such a lush and wonderful entry in this canon of filmmaking that it really is just, I see why people, the favorite film of any director is going to be so highly subjective and personal. And for many people, whether they say it or not, probably changes over the years depending on where they are in life. And certainly I've seen Tenebrae listed as Argento's best film, along with Suspiria, along with Deep Red, along with, you pick your favorite Argento movie, likely you will find a movie list where somebody agrees that that is the best one he ever made. And that's fine, because that's, again, all art is subjective. But this is, to me, one of Argento's best of his pure giallo films. I probably still prefer Deep Red over this one, but boy, there's things about this movie I absolutely love. I mean, the crane shot, which is what many people in filmmaking are most, they know the best of this movie in terms of its actual technical merits, is this 2.5-minute crane shot going around the outside of a house that today would be done with CGI. They would never do the amount of planning and expense to actually do a shot like this, or few filmmakers, I should say, would do it. And it just looks magnificent. And the Goblin score, which borders so often, as the best ones do, it borders on not even making sense for the film and what's going on, and yet it just works. There is something, and you wonder about the sensibilities that bring some of these artistic decisions into life. But when you sit there and go, was this an accident? Did Argento, for like Suspiria or this movie, or whenever I don't know what his first movie with them was. I think it was Suspiria, but I might be wrong about that. Was that a thing where he went to them expecting them to deliver a traditional score or soundtrack, or at least something more conventional? And then when they went off into outer space with what they were doing, he was like, oh no, actually this works great. Let's just keep rolling with this. You sort of hope so. But I don't know. But here again, like I said, another great Goblin score among many great Goblin scores that just suits these. I mean, Argento, when he was in his prime, there's just nobody making movies quite like this. So Tenebrae is excellent. If you've never seen it and you like Argento's giallo films, or really Italian slashers of any type, you should absolutely see it. It is among his best, and it's among his best, and it's scored so wonderfully with the Goblin thing. So you're just getting that totality of Italian slasher that makes people diehard fans of this genre, including me. So if you already like this stuff, and for whatever reason, and it can happen, there's so many that it's very easy to just not see ones that people say, what, you've never seen that? Well, if Tenebrae is one of the ones you haven't seen, then you should correct that immediately. It is yet another Argento classic. Obviously I've gushed about it for almost 5 minutes, so I don't know what more I can say. It is an essential giallo film. One of Argento's high points, stylistically, a great Goblin score you should buy and listen to on its own, because it's great, and you'll actually hear it in other music. So, yeah, 1982's Tenebrae is one of the ones that if you haven't seen it, well, you should make some time and see it as soon as possible. Later.